Well, hey there, dudes and doodads. We are about to finish up Macbeth. Yes, I can hear the hallelujahs from here. I feel the same way. So, let's look at the last. You've written your 3 body paragraphs. Now we're going to write an intro and a conclusion. When you go to college, and even if you don't, it is the best to write the body of your writing first so that you can name the subject later. Do not try to start with your subject because you'll have to change it eventually because you'll either add or not get to parts of it in your essay and you'll get nailed for not having an appropriate thesis. And I know everybody at Tomball High School, thesis statement is the worst thing you could possibly hear. This way of writing makes it easy. So here we go. Let's look at how to write an introduction. Okay. With fear and trepidation, we enter in. So I've put this online so that you can see it. If you hear me slurping, I'm drinking tea while I'm putting up this video, so sorry about that. And days later, there we go. So what I want you to do is skip that first page because it's an ad, because I stole this from someone else who is an incredible English teacher. And here we go. So the parts of almost any intro are a hook, bridge, a summary, and a thesis. And the intro paragraph is shaped metaphorically like an upside down pyramid because you start with a very general statement and you end with a very particular thesis. So we all know what we're writing about already. We're either writing about betrayal or guilt or ambition. We already know who we're including. So we know the thesis statement. We're already done with that. But we're going to write it down now, and we're going to start with a hook. Your hook is a 1-sentence attention grabber. And because it's the easiest, I'm going to Google a quote. Let's see. I guess I will stick with guilt since I have been messing with that one the whole time. And I'm going to go to guilt quotes. And oh, look. Guilt is to the spirit what pain is to the body. Does that go in? Does it mesh with my body paragraphs? Yeah, I believe it does. I think that my guy, Macbeth, and his lady Macbeth, they experienced guilt as though it were painful. So I'm good with this. So guilt is to the spirit what pain is to the body. Who said it? David. Old eyes, hang on. Bednar. David Bednar. I'm good with this. I can do this. So I'm going to sound brilliant. And I'm going to write a hook. Here I go. I'm going to indent with my tab, and I'm going to say, guilt. I'm going to say, someone once said, comma, quote, guilt is to the spirit what pain is to the body. Period. No. Quote. David Bednar. Oop, no. What's this? Okay, there we go. Period. Yay. All right. Now, I've got a hook. And I have to deal with that, and I have to deal with the rest of my paragraph. So let's go back. Now, remember, there are other ways to do a bridge. And, that's fine. You can use them. But I just chose this one because it's the easiest. A quote, an analogy, or a metaphor. You could say, guilt is to the soul like pain is to the body. That would be an analogy. And you don't have to quote that because you got it from something else. It's fine. It's just general knowledge. I don't turn a cliche on its head. That's always difficult. It was raining ignorance reigned and we all got wet. Whatever. That's fine. A shocking statement. I can't think of anything shocking about guilt. So, whatever. So I'm going to choose the quote. I don't mind using an analogy. This one is more difficult, but this one, I can't think of anything shocking. So we've done our hook. Great. I'm peached. Now we're moving on to the bridge. This is where you introduce the play, Macbeth, the tragedy by Shakespeare. So you're going to identify the author, the name of the work. If you're doing an argument essay, you tell about the argument and the research, or you have to connect the hook to the summary. So now I've got to find a way to get from my quote to talking about Macbeth. So let's think about this a minute. Go back. Okay, someone once said, guilt is to the spirit what pain is to the body. Without a doubt, pain, this mental pain, I don't like that because I'm going to do it in the passive voice. Macbeth and his lady both experienced this mental pain in Shakespeare's, there's my author, tragedy. And then I have to put it in italics or underline it because I'm talking about the play, not the person. It's a title, Macbeth, period. Someone once said, guilt is to the spirit what pain is to the body. Without a doubt, Macbeth and his lady experienced this mental pain in Shakespeare's tragedy, Macbeth. Okay, I can live with that. It's not great, but I can fix it up. So I'm going to go back, and what do I need now? I need a summary. So I've got my hook. I got their attention. I got my summary. I told what I'm going to talk about with what work we're looking at. And now I'm going to look at a summary. Give the background that someone who hasn't read the story or doesn't know much about the issue is that I'm going to discuss so that the paper can make sense. I am not going to retell the story of Macbeth. I'm just going to talk about Macbeth and Lady Macbeth and why they experienced this guilt. So back I go. In this tragedy, and I'm always trying to connect my ideas together. So I have tragedy up here. I'm going to, in this tragedy, the protagonists both commit atrocities. I like that word. Atrocities involving the murder of a king and many others. However, they cannot get rid of the guilt that accompanies however, cannot enjoy their newfound power because their minds cannot let go of their guilt. I need to find another word for guilt because, good heavens, how many times am I going to say it? Does Google have a thesaurus? Okay, let's look for the word guilt in tools. I would like a thesaurus. You are no help at all, Google, and I have told you this 1,000 times. Guilt. Synonym. Culpability, wrongdoing, wrong. Okay. Misconduct seems a little light for murder, so I'm not using that one. So I'm going to go get this one. They cannot enjoy their newfound power because their minds cannot let go of their wrongdoing. Okay. Shakespeare examines the effects of guilt on Macbeth and Lady Macbeth in his play, and it is arguable that he too, Shakespeare too, might have had his own dealings with guilt. There. Ta-da! All right. That's not great because I still got 30,000 times I've said the word guilt. And I will go back and play with that a little bit, but I've got my intro written and my thesis states the main things: guilt, Macbeth, Lady Macbeth. All these things are in separate paragraphs. Guilt Macbeth, guilt Lady Macbeth, and guilt Shakespeare. I'm in because I already wrote my body paragraphs and I know what I'm writing about. That's how that works. Wasn't hard to write, went pretty quick. Let's go see what this one does. Okay. Love is a toxic medicine. Here's their bridge. Holding the ability to both heal and harm. Okay, it's not a quote. They just came up with it. Kind of a shocker. Love is toxic. I don't agree, but okay. And then here's their bridge. In James Hurst's short story, The Scarlet Ibis, the narrator, known only as Brother, discovers this painful truth. Here's his summary. As he fails in his attempt to help his little brother, Doodle. Since birth, here's the summary, Doodle has been weak and disabled, unable to perform normal daily functions like walking, running, and swimming. Dissatisfied with the situation, his older brother decides to teach him all of these physical activities, pushing Doodle further and further until one day he dies as a result of the physical strain. Then the thesis. Ultimately, Hurst uses the complicated relationship between Doodle and brother to show that love always contains some drops of passion. I can actually go back and say, Shakespeare, I like what I did. That's okay. He uses Macbeth and Lady Macbeth and perhaps his own guilt to examine the effects of guilt on the human psyche. We could do it that way. Whatever. I'm good with this for right now. All right, guys. That's how you write an intro paragraph. You start with a broad topic, a broad statement of some sort that has to do with your big subject. You introduce the work you're analyzing and the author of it. If it's a movie, the director of it. Then you do a summary of the plot, not more than 2 sentences, maybe 3 if you have to. And then your thesis. These all have to tie together somehow. I did it by repeating words. You can tie it together however you want. And now you're done with your intro. Got it. You guys have got this. And you're going to sound like a boss. I am so proud of you. Here we go.